Hello everybody and welcome back for my continuation of my book reading of The Time Machine. Chapter 7, Ghosts. Going through the big palace, it seemed to me that the little people were staying away from me. Perhaps it was my imagination, or because I had hit the metal panels. I was careful though, to show no worry and not to try to catch any of them. And after a day or two, the situation got back to normal. So I decided to put any thought of my time machine and the mystery of the metal doors as much as possible in a corner of my memory. I hoped that in the end, growing knowledge would lead me back to them in a natural way. But you can understand why I stayed within a circle of a few kilometers around my point of arrival. As far as I could see, all the world seemed to be like the Thames Valley. From every hill I saw the same large numbers of fine buildings, and all very different in materials and style, and the same kind of trees and bushes. I soon noticed, though, a number of wells in the ground. Several of these, it seemed to me, were very deep. One lay by a path up the hill, which I had followed during my first walk. Like the others, it had a top made of metal, interestingly decorated and protected by a little roof from the rain. Sitting by the side of these wells and looking down into the darkness, I could see no sign of water or any reflection when I lit a match. But in all of them, I heard a certain sound like the beating of a big engine. I also discovered from the flames of my matches that air was going down into them. I threw a piece of paper down into one, and instead of falling slowly, it was at once pulled quickly out of sight. I couldn't imagine what these wells were for. And so I must say now that I've learned very little about my many parts of life of these people. Let me describe my difficulties. I went to several big palaces, but they were just living places, great dining halls and sleeping apartments. I could find no machines of any kind, but these people were dressed in fine cloth that didn't seem very old, and their shoes, though undecorated, were very well made. But the people didn't seem to make things themselves. There were no shops, no factories, no signs that they brought things in from other places. They spent all their time playing gently, swimming in the river, falling in love in a half playful way, eating fruit and sleeping. I couldn't see how or where things were produced. But something had taken the time machine into the pedestal. Why? I couldn't imagine. Suppose you found something written in English, with here and there some words that were completely unknown to you. Well, on the third day of my visit, that's how I felt about the world of 802,701. That day I made a friend. A kind of friend. As I was watching some of the little people playing in the shallow part of the river, one of them was suddenly pulled away by the water. The river there could run quite quickly, but not too quickly for a swimmer of normal ability. It will give you an idea, therefore, of the weakness of these people, when I tell you that none tried to help the one that was in such danger. When I realized this, I quickly took off my clothes and walked into the water at a place lower down. I caught her and brought her safely to land. She soon began to feel better, and I saw that she was all right before I left her. I had such a low opinion of her people by then that I didn't expect any thanks from her. I was wrong about that though. This happened in the morning. In the afternoon, I met with my little woman as I returned from a long walk, and she greeted me with cries of happiness and gave me some flowers. Perhaps because I had been very lonely, I did my best to show I was happy with the gift. We were soon sitting together and deep in a conversation, mainly of smiles. The woman's friendliness affected me exactly as a child's would, We passed each other flowers, and she kissed my hands. I didn't seem to hers. Then I tried to talk and found that her name was Weena. That was the beginning of a strange relationship which continued for a week and ended, as I will tell you. She was exactly like a child. She wanted to be with me, always. She wanted to follow me everywhere, and on my next journey around the area, I walked fast and tried to leave her behind. She gave up at last, calling after me rather sadly. But the problems of the world had to be solved, and I hadn't. I said to myself, come into the future to start a relationship. She was, though, a very great comfort when it was too late, only when it was too late. I clearly understood how badly she felt when I left her and what she meant to me. By seeming fond of me and by showing in her weak way that she cared for me, the little person soon gave my returns to the place of the White Sphinx almost a feeling of coming home. I used to watch for her when I came over the hill. For her too, I learned that fear had not yet left the world. She was fearless enough in the daylight, but she hated the dark shadows. Darkness to her was the only thing to be frightened of. It was a very strong emotion, and I started thinking and watching. I discovered then, among other things, that these people got together in the great houses after dark and slept in groups. I never found one outside alone, and if I entered the room without a light, I made them very afraid. But I was such a fool that I missed the lesson of that fear, and although it made Weena unhappy, I slept away from the others. I worried her greatly, but in the end her feelings for me won. For five of the nights of our friendship, including the last night of all, she slept with her head on my arm, but my story is running away from me as I speak of her. On the night before I met her, I was woken very early in the morning. I had slept badly, dreaming that I was on the water, and that fish were touching my face. I woke suddenly, and with an odd feeling that the grey fish animal had just rushed out of the room. I tried to go to sleep again, but I felt uncomfortable. It was that grey hour when things are just appearing from the darkness, but are still unreal. So I got up, went down into the great hall, and out onto the stones in front of the palace. I thought I would go and watch the sun come up. The moon was going down, and the dying moonlight and the first light of day were mixed in pale half-light. The bushes were inky black, the ground a dark grey, and up on the hillside I thought I could see ghosts. 3 times I saw white figures, and twice I thought I saw a single white animal running quickly on 2 legs. Near the ruins I saw a group of them carrying a dark body. They moved quickly, and it seems that they disappeared among the bushes. The light was still unclear. You must understand, I was experiencing that cold, uncertain early morning feeling you may know, and I doubted my eyes. As the eastern sky grew brighter and the light of day brought stronger colors to the world again, I watched the hillside closely, but I saw no more white figures. I thought about them all morning, or at least until I had to get Weena out of the river. I connected them in some way with the white animal I had touched in my first mad search for the time machine, sorry. It was more pleasant to think about Weena, but these ghosts would soon take much stronger control over my mind. And that was the end of chapter 7, Ghosts. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.